Hello and welcome to my top 10 games of 2014. This year I played a lot of games, so I decided to put a list of the other games that I've played this year in the description with my opinions attached to them. So let's move on to the top 10 games of 2014. Now at the number 10 spot, I wasn't sure which game I should put because there were so many games that I played this year that it was hard to decide. But there weren't really top 10 games that I really enjoyed that came out in 2014. So at number 10 I decided to put a MOBA. There were a lot of MOBAs and I couldn't decide which one, but all the MOBAs are ranked at number 10. At number 9 comes Dark Souls 2. I haven't finished that game. I didn't. This is the first Dark Souls I've played, and after that I tried playing Dark Souls 1. But Dark Souls 2 was very good. It was polished. It was just fantastic compared to Dark Souls 1, which had shit controls on PC. So that is why I'm talking about Dark Souls on PC. Dark Souls 1 on PC wasn't really that great, and they patched it, but now they've removed that patch for some reason, I don't know why. And in the end of the day, Dark Souls 2 takes the number 9 spot. The visuals of the games are amazing, the story is fantastic, and even though I didn't finish the game, I still felt like it deserved a spot in my number 10, because every single minute and second that I played of that game was fantastic, and I wish I could go back, but I just feel like I don't have enough time to do that. At number 8 comes South Park: The Stick of Truth. This game is the epitome of bringing a game from the media into gaming itself. It seemed pretty hard to do, but they managed to do it. The RPG aspects, the voice acting, the story, everything about that game was amazing. If I could rate the game from 0 out of 10, I would give it a straight 10 out of 10. The visuals, the sound, the feeling, everything about that game screamed South Park, and I enjoyed the living shit out of that game. So that is why that game comes at number 8. At number 7 might be strange for some of you, it's Thief. Now you might ask, why Thief? That game was supposed to be disappointing. For some, yes, but for me, somebody who hasn't played that game before or any of the previous games, I enjoyed the shit out of that game. I enjoy stealth games, I enjoy strategic games, games that actually require you to think before you act. And that game was pretty on spot with those requirements that I have. The story was pretty solid, the gameplay was just on par with what I expect from a game like that, and pretty much Thief was overall what I kinda wanted BioShock Infinite to be, except of course for the murdering aspect, which Thief kinda downplayed because it's not supposed to be a murder game, it's supposed to be a stealth game. At number 6, people might be surprised, but it's Borderlands, the pre-sequel. Yes, I know I made that parody video, but I really did feel that way when I started the game. Those were my first impressions of the game when I played it. That was the first time when I actually played the game. But after a while, the game got a lot better. The gameplay got a lot better, a lot smoother, and it progressed a lot faster than it did in the start. There were a lot of new characters, a lot of interesting characters. There were new vehicles, new weapon types. Although I didn't like some of the classes, they were just kinda meh. You know, they didn't feel right, didn't feel like they played well with each other. Some felt more overpowered than others. But in the end of the day, Borderlands the pre-sequel is a Borderlands game, and it deserves my number 6 spot. At number 5 might come to a surprise to all because you haven't seen it on the channel, it's Wolfenstein: The New Order. Now I, as an AMD user, had a lot of problems before they released a patch. There were some cutscenes that didn't work, and some drivers that we didn't even know had to be updated. So after doing all that tweaking and updating, the game played perfectly well, there was absolutely no problems with anything, and I enjoyed that game for what it was. I enjoyed the dual wielding, I enjoyed all the types of weapons that they allow you to use, all the different types of dual wielding combinations of weapons that you can do. It just overall, Wolfenstein: The New Order was a fantastic experience for 2014, which felt a bit dry on AAA games that actually held up to the level of expectation. At number 4 comes a game that I bitched about quite a bit, but in the end of the day, after probably 6 patches or whatever, they finally managed to fix it, and that is Far Cry 4. Now, except for the problems which almost every single game had this year, Far Cry 4 is, and I'm gonna say it the way I see it, Far Cry 3 with pot colors, on drugs, and acid, with elephants, and honey motherfucking badgers. Anyways, Far Cry 4, for what it is and what it was and what fun it brought to me this year, it deserves the number 4 spot. Now my top 3 are very interesting because I wanted to include episodic games such as Tales from the Borderlands and the Game of Thrones game. But since they're only one episode in, I couldn't do that because that would be unfair to complete games. So my top 3 are The Wolf Among Us, which was just fantastic. Like, if you haven't played The Wolf Among Us, you should totally play The Wolf Among Us. The noir, the colors, the atmosphere, the feeling of the old New York days. It just felt amazing. And having fantastic characters like Bigby, Snow White, Beast, and Beauty is just an overall fantastic roster of characters to go along with such a great story. And this is why The Wolf Among Us deserves the number 3 spot. At number 2, which might surprise some people since I love this game so much, comes The Walking Dead Season 2. I know I've praised The Walking Dead Season 1 like crap, and you can see me almost crying my heart out on the first season. But the second season didn't really hit me that hard as much as the first one. Again, that was to be expected, since usually the sequels are never as good as the first ones. But The Walking Dead Season 2 was darn good. It was fantastic. It was a perfect sequel to something that was already established as a perfect game. The Walking Dead Season 2 almost was my number 1 game of the year, but it didn't make me feel like Season 1 did, like I should have cried in the end, which I didn't. But again, the ending was pretty touching, and this is why The Walking Dead Season 2 is at my number 2 spot. Now you might be wondering, what other PC game could be number 1? It's Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. I know you haven't seen anything from that game on the channel, but that was because I really wanted to play this game on my own. I didn't feel like I should be rushed to try and commentate or try to be funny about it. The game, when I started it, just took me in, and I didn't feel like starting all over again, because the first time I sit down and played, I played for 4 hours straight. I didn't feel like I wanted to get up or do something else or turn on the recording. I just wanted to sit down and play the game because it was so immersive. It made me feel like I was in goddamn Mordor. The voice acting of Troy Baker, the visualization of Mordor, the skill trees, beast mounting, the battle system, which is exactly like Batman and Assassin's Creed. It's the perfect game that had almost no problems when it first got released, compared to other games that got released in 2014. So Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor is the most perfect game that came out in 2014, and that is why it's my number 1 pick for Game of the Year in 2014. So this is it for my top 10 games of 2014. Let me know what your top 10 games were in the comment section below. Don't forget to leave a like if you actually liked the video, and subscribe to see future videos that will be coming out later on. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.